Peace and blessings, family. How y'all doing? Let me get over and see about sharing this. I will be right with you guys. Thank you for coming through. Thank you. And for everyone who has bought their God box already this month, they are already out. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. If you have re-upped your subscription in any way, whether that is Earth, um, humanity, or heaven, thank you so much. And of course, if you are on the Earth level, please make sure that you send your, if you like to claim your goodie bag, please make sure that you send your name and address to fundife@yahoo.com so you can receive your goodie bags, because my memberships come with stuff other than words. No, I'm just acting up. Peace and blessings. Again, peace and blessings. Forgive me, you guys. Grand Rise, Dali. Good to see you. Grand Rise, Cherie. Good to see you, girl. It's always a pleasure to have such wonderful minds. You know, that plant in my cat, the plant does this to the blinds because we've drilled the hole too close to the window. And as you can see, Lost Vein is doing what he does while I get all of this set up. Hey, you know, I love y'all, but I want to take a little time to logically tell you something, because it seems like for the last 150 years, we just had this conundrum in our minds on why, as we have had this journey in America, we're killed on the spot. And we're like, why? Can I take that stress from you? Because knowing the truth is the best thing. And there is only one truth. There is only one truth. And it has nothing to do with you being, it's not as simplistic as us being black. Period. It's not that simplistic. It is simple, but it's not that simplistic. This is America. And we have been here long enough that we can logically look at our position and begin to take some of these fear factors out of our existence here. So, of course, I'm going to do my best to try to keep my language as clean as possible so this message can be heard across the board. But I said I'd try. Okay. Why is it a white man can go in a store and steal something, walk out, and go home? Why is it a black man can be in a store using a product that the store sells and be gunned down while in that store? Why can a white man shoot up a whole church? They take him to McDonald's. But you have a brother selling singles outside a convenience store and he gets choked out. Fee, it must be many reasons. No, it is not many reasons. It is still the first reason. And it's like we've forgotten the first reason. Have you all forgotten the first reason? Our sister talked about it. Dr. Francis talked about it all the time. The common denominator is white genetic annihilation. Period. Everything that this so-called white man does on this planet is to ensure his genetic line, his genetic power. See, what does that have to do with anything? Easy. They need as many breeders as they can get, whether that breeder is psychotic or not. Why do you think they hold a white woman? They've grandiosed their white woman so much that every man in the world wants to have himself a white woman. But even if, check this out, even if that white woman goes with any other ethnicity of man, what does she get as a product? I will wait. What she get as a product? Protection. Thank you, baby blue. She gets protection. But here's a problem. Here is one problem that the white woman has. If she steps outside of her race, that child is going to be of that other culture. She can only produce a white child with a white man. Anybody ever play Othello? Because when me and my brother were children, I hearkened all of what was happening in the world to the game of Othello. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the donation. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now, she can only produce her own if she is with a white man, right? Other than that, she produces a watered down version of whatever that man is, right? You with me so far? So they need as many breeders as they can get. Even if she has a child with an Asian, another Asian, that child will resemble the Far Eastern Asian or that Middle Eastern Asian, but her child will not look like a product of Western Asia. See, why are you calling the why are you calling Europa Western Asia? Because there's no break on that continent. There's no large water line that splits the Asian continent. And I'm sorry, France, Italy, shall I go on? The Soviet Union, Russia, we can keep going. Those are all Asians. They're all Asians. They're all Asians by the rules of continental plate divides. Because I want to make sure that y'all know this. I need you to know this. Y'all need to keep one of these. You need to know this because this kills a lot of stuff when you have things like this on hand. By the way, thank you, Alex. Love it. Because I don't want anybody to think I'm wrong. You know what I'm saying? I don't want nobody to think I'm wrong. Let's turn that right above Africa, right there. See, we got Africa from there to there. Africa is huge. Okay. But so is Asia. Asia is freaking long. This is all of Asia. That's the Asian continent. All from Britain to China, from the Soviet Union to the tip of India, they're all Asians. Let's get our geography right. Let's get that right. And quite frankly, if anybody from this side of Asia reproduces with anybody else around this world, you're going to get a watered down version of anything around this world. She will not be able to produce a whole nother white being that will have another whole white being in the next generation. She can't do it. You know who can? I'm sorry, hold on. Because there's a misconception about that too. See, the women, that's the Americas, and I got it right. There we go. There we go. Spin, spin, spin. It's on this side. Women from here, Africa, right? But there's another place where the Africanoid is strong. That place right there. It was the original people from here. There and there. They can produce anything too. They can produce anything from there as well. Get you one. Thank you. Why are we killed on sight? It's genetic. And it's just that simple. Stop looking for a bigger answer. It is just that simple. Sweden's at the top, my love. It's over near Finland. As a matter of fact, it's the country that has the white flag with the red cross on it. Anything else you'd like to ask me? It is also one of the very few countries that have never seen war on its own shores, but has participated and protected the money therefore of. Any other questions about Sweden and whether I know where I am or not in the world? My love, protect the egg, baby. Protect the egg. Shall we talk about the underhanded, shady shit that Sweden has done in the world to protect the power that it has now for such a small country that doesn't produce anything? That's what it has become, my darling. That was not the first flag. Not upset. Just want to get the right side of history going. Nobody gets to hide anymore. This is 2020. Please don't separate yourself from history. Everybody acts like because something has changed facially that the history of a place changes with it. It does not. You carry the sins of your fathers. Moving on. It is genetic annihilation, you guys. Since you're wondering why we get shot down for little things, it is genetic annihilation. It always has been. Why is it that during lynchings, the genitals were attacked? It would seem that there would be absolutely no good reason to attack the genitals of a person already strung up and lit on fire. Why would you attack the genitals? Shall we talk about modern gynecology? Shall we talk about modern gynecology and how it came to be, how all the little instruments came to be? Because if it wasn't for Black women during slavery who were being given no anesthetic, were used as guinea pigs to attack the womb. You do know that modern gynecology was not for womb health at first. You do know that, right? He was studying how to systematically destroy the Black womb. Margaret Sanger came next. This is all about genetic annihilation. Nothing less. Please don't come in here throwing your white sorries around, because let us too not act like Sweden didn't participate and fund and benefit off the backs of Black people that they stole from around the world and sold. So I'm sorry for your Swedishness. No, I'm sorry that one of the descendants of such a heinous crime is here to put it in your face. Sweden, everybody gets to pay. Now, let's step this up. White privilege has been around the world since forever, as far as I'm concerned. They always get the first, do they not? I mean, this series is called This is America. You can't. You can't fix it for me. I don't care. I know some wonderful dogs. Even an evil man, as Vic would say, even an evil man knows how to give gifts to his children. You want to fix it? Give all of your generational wealth over. We'll wait. Give all of your generational wealth over. We will wait. You want to know what you can do? That's what you can do. We'll wait. You said evil. So I'll take you at your word. Because y'all know the universe doesn't hear negatives. But you'll do everything to dance around that. Cut the check. Do an ancestry.com and give the wealth back to the people that you got it off of. Fix it. I didn't say give it to me. I just said, don't see. Hey, y'all, Jaguar. Never mind. I got it. Because we ain't about to do this, because this is about genetic annihilation of you and yours, and everything that y'all will do not to go away. Say goodbye. This is about genetic annihilation. And no amount of that runaround rhetoric is going to stop me from saying what the fuck I got to say, period, point blank. And so may your country turn black. Go watch Addis. That's what you do. Since y'all like telling on yourselves, go watch Netflix, boo-boo. Go protect the egg. I told your ass go protect the egg. You wouldn't sit down and shut up. Bye. This is all about genetic annihilation. Why are they going after women? They're going after the young kids now. Why? Why? And then they act like, oh no, I get my hands dirty. Don't y'all worry about it. Oh, look, y'all was just timing her out. That's cute. Y'all was trying to be cute. Bye. Talk about me later. If you're not breathing, you can't breed. They need as many breeders as they can. Why are our sentences longer in the judicial system? Our sister boiled this down before she died, and we still didn't hear her. Now, I tossed them out. Ain't no hiding. Bye. You on a ban list. Give a fuck. Not today. Why do our children get 50 years? Why do our daughters at 18 get 45 years to life? It's to keep you from having children. One of our teens, check it out. One of our teens can steal a car, get 20 years. One of their teens steals a car and gets probation. Why? Why? What sense would that make in a social construct? There's only one thing this does. It allows the white teenager to come out, have children and a family. And his record, well, he only had probation, right? The black teen that did the same thing, right? 20 years in the pen. Don't you think that that teenager is going to learn gay culture? When that teenager comes out, what do you think that teenager is going to think about women? Because as far as he's concerned, and I'm pull this up, as far as he's concerned, the only women that he's been socialized to were male. So when he gets out, his idea of a woman is going to be highly skewed. And any woman that comes in contact with him is going to have a problem. Now, when that teenager gets those 20, he's going to come out at 38, right? Look how long he didn't have to procreate. $20 years. Now the white boy has been out procreating for those 20 years. They don't traumatize the white womb, they traumatize the black wombs. They make black women not want to have children. They make it easy for black women to abort their children. Now, here we go. We abort our children and still outproduce them. Think about that. Think about that. We abort our children at a rate that a billboard went up in New York that said the most dangerous place for a black child is in a black womb. They can say that about the American Black woman, and we still outproduce you happily. See the problem? Why do they get to shoot you down in the street, black man and black woman? Because you're still property of the United States of America. You are an experiment. And when you commit a crime, you are an experiment that has gone wrong. And remember, I said this before. What happens when an experiment goes wrong? What do you do? Flame on. In any reputable scientific place that I've been, they've always had a flame on button. Look at the 13th Amendment. We abolished slavery until we wrote the 13th Amendment. Prisoners have been used forever as free labor. Ask Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi. Our men go to prison and die in prison. They won't even send theirs to jail anymore. They come up with ridiculous reasons why people can't go to, why their people can't go to jail. He's too rich. What the fuck? Whoa, what? What? And he won't make it in jail, so we're putting him on house arrest. Well, house arrest means he can still have sex. Let's say it that way. He can still have sex. Thank you so much, Hudson. Bless you, darling. May it be returned to you 1,000-fold. Yes. Ha ha. May it be returned to you 1,000-fold, darling. Thank you so much. And to the Cash App that I got, may it be returned to you as well, 1,000-fold. I forgot I had some up on my desk. I re-upped. Thank you so much, darling, for supporting the channel. Now we run around like, why? Genetic annihilation, period. Period. And I'm going to say it again. Even with the highest birth death rates, and when I say birth death rates, with the highest birth rates, and with the highest rates of death with our infant children, we still outproduce. But you got to ask yourself something. What are we producing? That's different. That's different because, see, they allow their criminals, their killers, they allow their thieves, they allow all of them to procreate, every last one of them. As a matter of fact, during slavery, we didn't get any of that good white blood. It wasn't a good Christian slaveholder that came up in the slave quarters to rape, now was it? It was only them downtrodden criminals, the sadists and the masochists, the people with the whips. They was the only ones that came to hop the fence, right? America was like Australia. Nobody wants to talk about that. Shall we talk about that for a moment? Shall we talk about what Australia and America have in common? Shall we? Shall we talk about what the land down under? Oh, yeah, yeah. Where women go and then plunder. Can't you hear that thunder? Oh, yeah, yeah. You better stay, you better run. What does this country, a little turny turn, and this country have in common? Let me tell you. These countries over here that are attached to this whole Asian landmass right here was sending their criminals there. That's what they have in common. See, right now, we think transportation is a privilege. How many of y'all think transportation is a privilege? Raise your hand, please. Please raise your hand if you believe transportation is a privilege. And I'm going to show you something about the history of transportation and why you can get a ticket during your transportation. Australia legit almost killed. Wait a whoa. Whoa. Hold on. Didn't America do about the same? You could literally take Australia out and add America, and you still have a profound truth. But then you could also put Hawaii in that same sentence, and you are still 100% right. Let's talk about transportation and why the transatlantic slave trade is so important to this story. Transportation was a punishment. Transportation was a punishment. To be shipped from one place to another was a punishment. Why? Because they didn't want to keep them in the country in their jails. They wanted to clean their countries out of their criminals. So they put them on boats and called it transportation. That's why you can get a ticket during transportation. Because it's a punishment. Fee, I don't believe that. Hold on. Let me throw something else at you. Just one more thing to prove that transporting people was a punishment. How often do they relocate the ghetto? How often do they move the ghetto around? In case you haven't noticed, every one generation, which takes two generations to do, Black neighborhoods and ghettos get completely cleaned out. And it is systematic. Anybody ever heard of a residential zone versus a business zone? Anybody ever heard of a word called gentrification? Where your grandparents' house is bought and paid for. The only thing you have to do is now pay taxes on it, right? But then they rezone. So not only do you have to do all of these major repairs to be able to keep the house, but more than likely, your mama don't want it, and nobody in her generation wants it because everybody in their generation has their home. And none of the children of those children want the burden to upgrade the house. So you see Black neighborhoods falling into major disrepair over this, which means a thriving neighborhood that one generation ago now looks like a bomb hit it, right? And where our parents bought it for top dollar at the time, right? The developers come in and buy it at rock bottom. Fee, what does this have to do with genetic annihilation? They just moved your home base. They just took over your emergency family package. You know, when cousin Ray Ray with her three kids get kicked out her house, grandmama's house would have been a fallback, which wouldn't have been a burden on her and her kids. That's what I'm talking about. Genetic annihilation. People act like genetics is just about birth. No, genetics is about home. Genetics is about family. Genetics is about being connected to a place. Why do you think China is going into Africa right now. Why do you think those Asians are marrying those African women? Why those Asian women are marrying those African men? It wasn't one generation ago that they thought that Africans were dogs. Now all of a sudden it's changed? No, this is about genetic annihilation. We all know what you can do with a mulatto child. Didn't we watch? Didn't we watch the American slaveholder use the mulatto child against the so-called African slave? If Asia goes in, if China goes in, have children that have tied to the land, do you not think that is a way for China to take over the African lands? And what is Africa doing? Come on in. No. Excuse me while I talk to my mother right quick. Mama, mama, if you let them in, you will never get them out. So what is China doing? China is genetically inserting itself into Africa. Hello? Hello? Yes, Navi. Bed it down. It's called bed for a reason. Africa is always under siege. Now, let's take this back. Let's take this back for a second. Fee, what does that have to do with our genetics? I'll let you know. Check this out. Every man that defies the American way of life is either put to death or put in jail, correct? Take that back. Hold that thought. Let's go back in time for a second. Slavery, right? The slave that defied the slave master was used as an example to the other slaves, correct? Damn near beaten within an inch of his life without all or to death, right? Hung in trees in cages, allowed to dehydrate and waste away almost to nothing until they died. Put in hot boxes below the ground to sweat to death. Boiling oil. We were never afraid of death. That's one thing Black folk got to get straight. We were never afraid of death. We were afraid of the manner in which we were going to be put to death. That's scary shit. Considering that white people have hellified death imagination. This man has found death in everything. As a matter of fact, he has a whole let's call it what it is. He has a whole death industrial complex. He doesn't look at this the way we look at this. I look at this as, oh, wow, this is so diverse. I would just want to go in and learn about every people's on this. He looks at this and goes, how can I eat it? This is a people that made furniture out of us. These are people that covered classic books with our skins. These are people that made postcards out of the circus that they made our death in. These people made an afternoon outing sound inviting when they named a picnic. Does anybody really know the origin of the word picnic? Oh, lampshades, couches, shoes. I saw a jacket. Can you imagine how many backs had to be used to make a full length duster of black hide? You do know in some of their old literature about how to get a white woman excited enough to have a child. You do know that attending a picnic was one of them. And I was like, no, that ain't right. Wait a minute. I got to read into this. I got to read into this. No, 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 no. And as I read, it said, now listen to me, that the event of a picnic, you would feed her, you would coddle her, you would talk kindly to her. When they said the N word, but I'm going to say, when they brought the black man, black woman, or black child, or a combination of, out for the spectacle, the woman would become horrified. And in her horror, he would stroke her, which would also excite her horror. And in exciting the horror during the procedure of the lynching that took place during a public picnic, because there was more than one person at the spectacle, there was more than one couple at the spectacle. As a matter of fact, it was used as a family event for the true Americans of America. When the deed was done, he was supposed to heartily take her home because the horror and the tantalization of the event would make her ovulate. So just in case you wanted an origin as to why would they be lynching black folk, there's another reason why: genetic annihilation. In order to get her to ovulate, they use the death of us to do it. Yes, Yes, dressed in their Sunday best. Yes. Yes. Just in case you didn't know. Oh no, Hudson, not dumb. That's true. There are a couple ways to induce ovulation. Terror is one of them. Terror and extreme excitement. And they put terror and extreme excitement together. So not so dumb, because it worked. Why do you think black women just kept having children on the plantation? The reproductive system of the human is a beautiful, beautiful thing if we studied it. If we studied it. Anybody, and I'll give you an example. It happens in the military all the time, especially with seamen. Especially with seamen. When the ship comes in, all them women and children, they can predict. The US Navy can predict that almost 50% of those women that get to see their men come back, even if she has just had a period, she will ovulate. That's why you'll see in the Navy sets of children, especially if them seamen stay together for long period. Yes, seamen. Yeah, it fits. It fits. If those seamen have been at sea for a long period of time, or you find two seamen that have been together, maybe I should say sailors, two seamen that have served together for a very long time, you will see that they have sets of children that are about the same age. It is. I'm not lying. Stop laughing. But it's a fact. It is a fact. Human body is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Well, Hudson, now you know what? Hudson, this would be something good to look into. If you have the time, find out when he came back into port. Wait a minute, there are two events. There are two events: leaving and coming back. I will almost guarantee you that you can line those up to those 12 births. Guarantee it. The horror of him leaving would have made her ovulate, and the pleasure of him coming back would have induced ovulation. Guaranteed. When men go off to war, there's a huge baby boom. Right after you can it is strategic. When men go off to war, you can count 9 months and there'll be a baby boom. Going and coming. It is also a tactic of the military to have their soldiers, families. It is, well, let me put it this way. It is important for a soldier to have dependents. The military loves military families. That's why the military families have rules as well. If you're on the base and you fornicate and one of them women find out, she can have you locked up in the brig, home. She can send her man to military jail. For stepping out on her. I don't know anywhere else where you can get your man tossed in jail for having an affair except in the military. Yeah, they named a whole generation, yeah, the baby boomers. Yes. Yes. Those were the babies after the Vietnam War. Those were the babies during and after the Vietnam War. Hudson. That is why they didn't at first. Are things coming clearer to you now? Have I taken a little bit of this? Why is this happening to us away? Stop. It's about genetic annihilation. Everybody want to live. And every time they see one of us, they see their death. I'll be honest. At first, when we start trying to think tank about how we could get out of this, how can we get out of this? There were people for, how about we just say, okay, and let them on in. Like, oh, hell no. No, 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 no. There's got to be another way. It's got to be another way. I spent like 15 years trying to figure out another way until one morning it just hit me. Take them in. We can have this solved in one generation. Uno mas. We can have this solved in one generation. Give it to them. This is a game of Othello, right? If you just simply think about this as a game of Othello, and the problem is, even if they flip theirs back over to white, it's no longer white, it would be gray. Bye. I mean, to our advantage, if everybody looks like us, then what? But they're going to preserve their bloodline. I don't care what. I don't blame them. There you go, Hudson. That's why they wanted them young. Oh, and don't forget that in the military, you do what you're told. You take them 16 shots. They never told you what was in it. You walk through the gas chambers. You put on the chemical suits. I don't care what nobody say. Veterans hospitals have some of the longest running history on the experiments and the results thereof of most of the experiments that have taken place in the United States. and you can't get those records. They make sure, they make sure that if those men and women have medical issues, they go to the VA. You don't go to a regular hospital, you go to the VA. You need a surgery, we got you. You need chemo, we got you. You need a stent, we got you. You are a product of Agent Orange, we got a long running history on what happens. Now, mind you, is anybody checking on the children or the spouse of this said soldier? And what being exposed to that soldier is doing to that household, kind of like the Tuskegee experiments, they were only keeping track, or were they only keeping track of the men that got infected? But we know now that this was a venereal disease, right? What happened to the women? This is about genetic annihilation, right? What happened to the women? Better yet, what happened to the children that were born to that man and that woman? Because this is about genetic annihilation, right? We now know what syphilis does to the human mind, correct? We weren't bred with the worst, with the best of the best. They killed the best of the best. See, where is this going? Back to slavery. They killed the best of the best. The best of the best didn't get a chance to. The best of the best didn't get a chance to breed. The best of the best were killed, as an example. So what happens? The worst of the worst get to breed. The strong didn't get to breed. Mm-mm. That weak black man and that weak black woman, they got to breed. And what did they breed? You think for a minute that a weak black man and a weak black woman bred a strong black child? That weak black woman broke that child in vitro. That we're in Chicago. And they still haven't done anything to say or protect those elderly men, women, the mothers that live there, the fathers that live there, and the children that live there. Do y'all know what happens when you allow syphilis to run rampant for generations? Do we know? I do. If I told you it has to go to mental capacity, would you believe me? You wonder why some of our children are so hard to learn and teach. On some damn cases, it's not their fault. It's the food, it's the water, it's the genetic annihilation. Y'all remember Batman? Do y'all remember Batman with Bat Dance? Prince? Huh? Y'all remember that? Eh, y'all remember Batman? Does anybody remember how, the one with Prince and what's his name? The dude that played in The Shining. No, what's his name? What's his name? He played the devil too. What's his name? But he played the Joker. Rather good one, by the way. Remember, how does anybody remember how he was poisoning the city? Does anybody remember how he was poisoning the city? Jack Nicholson, thank you. How was he poisoning the city? Thank you so much for the thank you so much for the PayPal. Thank you. May that be returned to you 1,000-fold. Thank you so much. He did it through the cosmetics. And a different combination of different cosmetics gave you different results. Remember? Anybody remember the newscast that told the people of Gotham how they were getting it? It was in the talcum powder, it was in deodorants, it was in makeup, it was in personal hygiene products, like Johnson and Johnson with their talcum powder that we now have found out that they knew forever causes uterine cancer, while their study telling us put it on the bottoms of our baby girls. Put it on your child's genitals. I mean, how many of y'all got talcum powdered as children? Just now to find out that Johnson and Johnson was poisoning your ass the whole time. We wondered why our young aunties never had children. Talcum powder. You wonder, how about bleaching the tampons? I will never forget when I was told how to use a tampon. And I looked at it and went, that's not sterile. That's not sterile. I was taught never to put anything in my body that is not sterile. And you can't tell me that that tampon is sterile. No. No. Bleach. Y'all have never watched a documentary on how tampons are made? They're not made in a sterile environment. And not only are they not made in a sterile environment, that cotton piece that's loaded into the Jimmy Jam thing, Jimmy Jam, that's loaded into the Jimmy Jam thing, that's left out for weeks at a time. Roaches and any other thing can crawl across those. Those are not sterile. They go in the package unsterile. And y'all wondering why your uteruses are falling out. Was that race specific? Oh, that was not race specific. No, that was not race specific. Not at all. It was not race specific. But what is race specific is our aunties and cousins going into going into the hospital in the 50s. No, they said from the 40s to the 70s. And depending on what their illness was, the doctors took it upon themselves to sterilize these women without telling them. I have a family member right now that, as a child, was given a certain set of shots, and she has never been able to have children. And she always wondered why she was never able, and nobody could tell her why until this study came out that confirmed that baby girls that were given this combination would have reproductive problems. Roaches, mice. If there's a roach, there's a mouse. I'm sorry. And I just can't see. Even tampons, man. We don't even think about that. Uh, Tampons aren't sterile, and neither are your maxi pads. I don't care if they do have a cotton cloth over them. I don't care if they're made of all cotton. They're not sterile. And I know a lot of people don't even think about that while you opening that already flimsy little package. You unzip it from its sticky. You slap it on the inside of your underwear. You take the two things off and slide it around. You don't even think about this, how clean that surface is, before you put it right next to literally an open wound. You can use a B or D. I don't care. I'm just here to inform. This is about genetic annihilation. And the more they can play with your cooch, the more genetic annihilation they can spread. Yes, awkward. I was part of that generation, and they came with a belt. The belt. Oh my God, the belt. Does anybody else remember the belt? And they came in a box like this. There was no hiding the box. And it usually had some funky color rose on it. I think the ones that I remember had, they were purple. It was a purple box that was like this big. It was all purple and it had this big yellow rose on it. You couldn't hide it. You couldn't hide it. Oh, you couldn't hide it. You couldn't hide it. Okay, so I'm not the only one that had the experience with the belt. Okay. Oh, yeah. Back to this genetic annihilation. This is a personal message to Bill Gates. Mr. Gates, on behalf of Black America, we thank you so much for trying to, in this endeavor of handing out your most wonderful, I believe, vaccination that you feel without one medical degree would help us in this battle of ours. Well, sir, I would like to say no thank you. At this point in time, we'd like to keep the status quo. Keep the status quo. White people first. And I say cover all of white people. Start with the Senate, the Congress, old money. You should start with old money, Mr. Gates. Before, I think you should get paid for your vaccine. I really think you should get paid for your vaccine before you just start giving it away to us. No, 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 no. I think that the white people of the world should be the first to enjoy your contribution to humanity, sir. It would be a pleasure to watch your people, I mean, especially your European aristocracy. I mean, as a matter of fact, I think the Queen of England, all of the royalty should get this first. I humbly bow out and say no thank you. At this point in time, Black lives do not matter. White lives matter. White lives matter. I say please double down on me. Harry can have two of mine, and I'm good. I think that you should most definitely make sure that you give out until you give out. You know what I'm saying? I think we should be last on this list, as we usually are. It would be my pleasure to be first, but I don't think so. I mean, at this point, to the back of the bus, white people first. I don't even want to cut line. I'm good. I'm good. No reason to stop the status quo. White lives matter first. I think we should keep that as a motto while you're what we call in the hood slanging your vaccine. Thank you for the consideration. But yeah, in this matter, I truly believe that the status quo should be upheld. You and your woman first. Thank you. As a matter of fact, it would be my pleasure to give you the shot, and I'm qualified to do it. I'm qualified. Are there any other Black Americans who agree with me on this vaccination thing? Mr. Gates, thank you, thank you. But if you want to give me anything, if you'd like to give me anything, you can I get like an updated Microsoft tablet? That's what I want. I don't even want the vaccination. I'm good. I don't want to wear my mask either, but it is what it is. I'm finding that my Blitch's brew keeps the Rona away. If you agree with me, toss it back. If you got it, hit it. It's noon somewhere. That's smooth. Right now, there's 30% off your bottles at www.masterfundife.com. It ain't gonna happen often, but I had something come through this full moon and I had to pass it on to y'all. 30% off. It ain't gonna happen often. So you better get in there. www.masterfundife.com. Blitch's brew. Yes. This pomegranate is so damn smooth. It's good. Woo! Keep the Rona away. Keeps the Rona away. For those of you that like the honey apple crisp, it is back for a limited time. Back. I forgot that I put a gallon up, and it just finished. So we bottled it. It's ready to go. Don't miss out. Oh, y'all. Oh, y'all. I only made a gallon and I can't give it away. It's too good. This one was made with Concord grapes. Do you see that color? I mean, you can see my individual fingers pass behind this thing. It I'm going to make some more. This was made with Concord grapes. This tastes so much like a Merlot. Oh my goodness. No, I'm not selling. No, I ain't make that many. Stop it. No, this was an experiment. It's so good. It's so good. When I tasted it, I was like, okay, I'm drunk. I'm gonna make some more, but my God. I told them don't put it on the website. I'm gonna go see if it is. Because if it is, it shouldn't be. I will make some more. But when I tell y'all this is the wine, this is a honeymoon wine. Fee says it's wine, but it hit me like I took a shot. It is wine. By definition, it's wine. By definition. Got you, Navi. Yeah, I'm thinking about putting something in these guide boxes that'll wet y'all whiskers. Not quite sure what yet, but y'all, I'm telling you, it's the alkaline water. It's the alkaline water. It's the alkaline water absorbs into the human body faster than regular water. I'm telling you what it is. It hits you in the face like it hit me in the face like that. My honest opinion about the HPV vaccination for boys is don't do it. Just like I said, don't do the girls. They haven't had 10 years of study on that vaccination. Don't do it. And here's the thing, there are over 23 strains of HPV. Y'all listen to me. There's over 23 strains of HPV. That shot only takes care of 5. What's the point? What's the point? You might as well just tell your son to wear a condom. It's cheaper, easier, and it won't stay in his body. Oh, I'm sorry, you guys. My fault. Uh, I meant to do this and didn't. My bad. Uh, I thought I was drop that link just in case anybody wants to come up. What's wrong with a vasectomy? I know a lot of men are like, oh no, my. Mm-mm. It is easier. It is easier to reverse a vasectomy than any other form of birth control that a woman could ever put in her body. But then again, for those of you who took my birth control class, let me show you how long I have been working on birth control. This is my birth control notebook. This is starting from the back. This is how long. Different herbs, how to take them, where they come from, how to get them, different procedures, different psychological trends that take place for birth control, all kind of stuff. I've been studying it for like 15 years. And when I say birth control, I mean exactly that. I just don't teach you how not to have children. I teach you how to have them too. Control means you can or you can't. You can go both ways. You can cut it on or you can cut it off, not just cut it off. Because some people can't cut it on. And some people can't cut it off. I had a homeboy, he couldn't have children until he hit 25. When he hit 25, he couldn't stop having them. Shoot, even we were like, you should be such a daddy right now, boy. He's like, I can't have them. And he hit 25 and couldn't stop. Like, there it is. People have their time, man. People have their time. Oh, yeah, the hormonal changes. And people, when you change a woman's hormones, you change her. I mean, think about this for a minute. Modern birth control, people don't even realize how modern birth control. Well, let's just talk about how the pill worked. Let's talk about how the pill worked. What, it was like 7 sugar pills, and you had what? 23 to 25 regular pills. How those pills worked was that they sent your hormones into a state where your body thought it was pregnant. Now think about this for a minute. If your body thinks it's pregnant, what does it begin to do? Your breasts swell. You begin to gain weight. Your hair and nails grow. Your body starts to shift itself to hold a human, right? Our grandmothers, when birth control first came out, it was my mom's generation, right? So as soon as these women found out that their daughters were menstruating, they immediately went and put them on birth control. And a lot of us thought it was because, oh, you think that girl is promiscuous? No. Grandmama knew the temperament of the men in her neighborhood. And she knew that more than likely that girl was going to experience some type of sexual abuse. And the last thing grandmama wanted was for that sexual abuse to turn into a living human being. genetic annihilation, or shall I call it genetic protection? Because in some cases, this type of sexual deviancy is passed down through genes. Again, we were inbred with the worst of the worst white people. We were inbred with rapists, thieves, liars, sadists, masochists, murderers, artful murderers at that. You think that didn't get in? You think that demon didn't sink in? We hold those genes. Now wonder why we crazy. Wonder why you crazy. We are containing every manner of horrible DNA. All of theirs and ours. Why our teens cannot reconcile themselves. Shit. Ask yourself if they have the mind to. Come on, y'all. I look on YouTube at some of these people, and there is a clear mental instability. It is clear. These people can't make friends. They can't even make virtual friends. Imagine what they do in their real life. Why is lying so easy for black folk? It's in your genes. Can I hit you with a truth right quick? Give me some ones if you want this truth. Because this truth is going to hurt. This truth is going to hurt, but it's going to make some shit crystal freaking clear for you. Come on. Because I got an answer for black on black crime. I got an answer for it. I don't even understand why people haven't figured out this answer, but I got an answer. Give me some more. Here is your answer to black on black crime. Why it is so easy for black folk to kill one another. Let's think about this genetic thing again. You have the genes of white folk that wanted you dead. Any good nigga is a dead nigga, remember? You have generations of that gene in you. Some of us were made from that gene. In our genetics, there is this loathing that we don't understand where it comes from. It comes from the slave ship. It comes from the slave master. It comes from the overseer that impregnated us. His genes are in us. His loathing for us is in us. Now, let's top that off with our own self-loathing. Let's top that off with our own look around fucked up circumstances. So on one side, we loathe ourselves for our position. And on the other side, we hate ourselves for our position. And you wonder why we commit suicide? Ain't no wonder. It is all by genetic design. Oops. Or did that just slip your mind? I think I'll leave that right here. I think I've done my job for today. If anybody would like to come up and add anything, feel free, feel welcome. If not, I'm going to go and get out of here. I think that sums up black on black crime. I think that sums up a lot of our psychological, genetic problems with ourselves. Love you, family. Love to bring y'all the truth. Love to just carve through this goddamn pig. Oh, baby blue, you didn't think about that? Seventh star? It is a oops, isn't it? Just take it and mull it over. Please share. If you would like to subscribe, please do. Welcome to U University with Master Fundife. This is part of the This is America series, where we just take a real hard, logical look at the state of affairs in this so called republic, because it is not a democracy, where we try not to give in to the illusion. I want to see what's real, I want to see the real. But it's something to think about. If we could have, if we can have generational trauma, right? And we introduce the genetics of the one who traumatized us, what is the psychological outcome of that child? I love y'all. You know who this is. This is Master Fundi Fee. What's my opinion on COVID-19? I'm going to put this right here. I'm going to leave it here. They don't quarantine you because of tuberculosis. They didn't quarantine you during the height of flu season. They didn't even quarantine us during 9/11. But something that you can just wear can wear this across my face and be all right. But they don't make us wear this during flu season. Why doesn't the flu shut the city down? What is COVID? For me, what is COVID? COVID is a way to shut down the American my wash is off. COVID is a way to shut down the American uh banking system so they can reset it again. What does COVID have to do with no change? But ever since COVID has been in place, all of a sudden there are large corporations that won't give you change. When you can easily go to the bank and still get quarters, dimes, nickels, and pennies. I went, I tried. They have them. But they're going to tell you, these large corporations, that if you go in there, they can't give you change back because there's a change shortage. And y'all go for that bullshit. That's what I think COVID is. You have a president that says that his unemployment is the lowest. I could swear there's an influx of people on unemployment right now, scared to lose their benefits because your American government won't give you your taxes back. As better yet, try this one. COVID-19. What is COVID-19? COVID-19 is the reason I couldn't get a loan for my small business, but a man here in Houston got $900,000 on his fraudulent business and just went to jail. But he spent it in strip clubs, bars, on a Lamborghini, a new truck. But I was denied. But he wasn't. I never understand how that took place. That's what I believe COVID-19 is. You had businesses that have been making mega profits for years that applied for those loans. How? And got them. They got them before the small businesses did. Now, here's my problem with that. These large corporations don't pay business tax. They find every reason in the fucking world to go around the world not to pay these taxes, but dipped into the public tax fund. So instead of getting the loan, I went in my own pocket and started Blitch's Brew. Now I'm under nobody's nothing. They can't come find me. They can't call me fraudulent. That was one thing about that loan that I just didn't get. When they start looking into that shit, how many people gonna go to jail for fraud? I'm almost happy they said no to me. Honestly, I lie to you not. TAA, the Awareness Awakening. Sorry. I'm almost happy I didn't, because they can't come get me after. You can't come find me. You can't change the rules and say I got to pay it back because I never got it. Period. No, I did not want a large amount. Not at all. But now, as per my philosophy, I don't owe anybody anything. Nobody can come get me because I didn't state this or state that, which lets you know that they're coming after people. They're looking into those loans. So I hope you didn't lie. Y'all, I'm out of here. Love you guys. You know who this is. This is Master Fundife. And for those of you who couldn't give but wanted to, this is for you because intentions are everything. And I love intentions as well. Thank you to everybody that did donate. It does help. It definitely helps the platform, helps me keep getting my things right and whatnot. Thank you so much for coming. May all of your intentions be doubled this week. You be good to yourself and you will be good to others. Salam, shalom, inhutepu, namaste. Sun salutations. Love y'all. Hey, take this information, cut it up, share it, because people act like folk on YouTube don't have content. Hmm, go figure. Somebody with content. Peace and blessings. But this is in honor of the Rona. Blitch's Brew. It keeps the Rona away. www.masterfundifeed.com. Thank you, y'all. Peace. Get out of here. Go do